I'm absolutely passionate about providing a platform for diverse authors, unseen, unheard authors, so that they can have their stories heard and voices heard, so they can educate, inspire, empower, and entertain, hey Faye, for generations to come. So this platform really is about offering a platform for other authors to come and share their author journey. A lot of them are published through ourselves, Conscious Truth Publishing. It's also a platform for you to learn about the publishing process. So I'll sometimes interview people in the publishing industry, so you can get a real flavour for what goes on between the covers of a book. Hey, the real Coach Carla. I do have a lovely guest, but she'll be joining us a little bit later. So what I'd like to do is to share with you a really exciting opportunity we have at the moment. On the 20th and 21st of August, I'm going to be running a 2-day full workshop for authors, for writers who have fantastic ideas. You've started your idea, but you just don't know where you're going with it. One of the top 2 things that stop writers from moving forward is, 1, not planning or structuring their book. So even if you're writing your own life story, it's so easy to go off in a tangent, but when you haven't got that blueprint of a clear structure, chapter outline, it can be so easy just to become despondent and to shelve it. And most of the people I speak to say that this is what the problem is. So this workshop is really for writers who've started. Hey, Kenny, thank you so much for your awesome testimonial. I really appreciate that. Kenny's book is on our bookshelf here. If you're over on Facebook, it's there, Being Invisible. Absolutely amazing book. Please do check this out. Men of Colour talk love, life, and fatherhood. Fantastic book. So, yeah, this workshop is for authors who've started writing and perhaps you're lost along the way. And what I find a lot of things that authors say stop them from moving forward is, 1, not having the structure, and 2, not having the time. So I've created a workshop that is not a preachy workshop. It's not going to be sitting in class like you're in a lecture. I was not one of those students. I don't learn that way. I need time to process and to work things out and to really do things myself. So it gives you a good chunk of time to actually write, which is what you're there for. You will be writing at this Writers' Weekend. And it is a beautiful location nestled in the woodland of North London. You have a forest, you have a lake, you have lots of a huge woodland area, you have an inside, we have an outside, obviously. Beautiful weather as well. I'm not doing it justice in terms of what it looks like. If you want to know what it looks like later on, hop over to one of my social media pages and you can see a video that we did showing you the space. And it's just a beautiful place to unwind, to tap into your own creativity, to really just be inspired by nature. Because often, I speak to authors and they ask, how many words should I be writing and what time of the day? And it's like, no, don't put pressure on yourself. You want to go away into nature. You want to, for me, I need to physically take myself out of this location and go somewhere else where I'm inspired and I'm not forcing it. I let the creativity flow through being inspired by my surroundings. And this is what this workshop is about. Obviously, you're going to be learning about how to structure your book. We'll talk about book marketing. I really want to touch on the different routes to publishing, because so often what holds people back is that they just don't have the knowledge. They don't know the difference between self-publishing, hybrid publishing, or traditional publishing, or what an agent is, or how to actually, be represented to get representation. So this really isn't just for authors who want to self-publish or who maybe want to work for us. This is for authors who want to explore all different avenues. So you'll be learning how to make an agent submission pack, so that when you're submitting your proposals to agents, if you choose to go that route, you have it there and you know exactly what it is that you're doing and how to write that query letter, which is so important. What I love also about writing is, for me, I started writing as a cathartic release. It was a way of healing. Now, I've always been a writer. I've always written since age 4, but it's been, as I've grown older, a really powerful tool to help me to really release things that I need to release. It's a really healing, powerful tool, but you need to tap into that creativity first. So I'll be running an EFT session, which is short for emotional freedom tapping techniques, which helps you to release stagnant energy and to stand more in your power. My sister, who is a holistic health coach, hey there, UK Black Writers Forum, big up, do join them, follow them on Instagram, amazing forum, lets you know what's going on in the world of literature in terms of black writers, absolutely brilliant forum. So, she's running a transformational breath session. She is absolutely amazing. I got into transformational breath actually through my sister. I've attended a few workshops and it is incredibly powerful. Again, it's a great way to release all of this stagnant energy, which then helps you to stand in your own power and release this creativity that's going to help you to write your book. Now, I do have an amazing guest on. She just messaged me saying she has no internet. We did a test earlier on and everything was perfect. Her internet is normally always perfect, and today it's not. Even an hour and a half ago it was fine. Now it's not working. I'm not sure what's happening, so I'll just wait to see if she messages me again. Do try again, Vanita. Would love to see you and to chat about your book. So that's the workshop. I do have a special offer, which actually ended at the end of July, but I'm going to keep it open for a little bit longer. I'm going to pop the link in the comments. It's also on if you're watching on Instagram, it's in the bio. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, I'll put it in the comments or in the post. But it's www.consciousdreams.publishing.com/writers-weekend. So really excited about that. It's limited to 10 to 12 members only, because it's really about getting that one-to-one assistance and guidance. It also includes a 45-minute coaching call as well as an online course. What more could you ask for? So I want to talk a bit about my t-shirt. I went to Crete, as some of you may know, and it was just absolutely amazing. It was something I really, really, really needed. Hadn't been out of the country for about 3 years, and all of us have had, most of us have had a really difficult, challenging, should we say, couple of years, and some of us haven't travelled at all for a very long time. And so being able to go to Crete was absolutely fantastic, and it was just such a beautiful experience to switch off and to just tap into my own time and my own space, my own sense of peace and rest. So I'm ready to reset and start again. But anyway, we went all the way there, and my partner found a t-shirt shop. A printing t-shirt shop became the highlight. Obviously, one of the highlights, of course. And this is the t-shirt that he got for me. It says, stand up, change the story. On Instagram, it's backwards. Every other platform, it's right. Change the story. As you'll see, there's Little Red Riding Hood. Taking the wolf to task. Now, I was a sort of kid where I would read these books, and I always felt sorry for it. It was always a wolf. I always felt sorry for the wolf that was like cut open, or it was made to seem like a big bad wolf. Why? They're doing what they're supposed to do. Okay? Well, I don't know if they're meant to eat old grannies, but you know. Don't know where I'm going with this. Anyway, what I loved about this is it's about, being able to change the narrative, to change the story. I work with a lot of authors, and certainly through myself with my first book, Mr. Wrong, I used really bad experiences or really challenging experiences, and other women use really challenging experiences to actually, use their story to empower others and to empower themselves. And so many women who submitted stories to that book went on to do some amazing interviews and do some amazing work, and certainly some of them around domestic violence as well. I mean, there were funny dating disaster stories in there too, but that book was an absolute making of me, because if I hadn't have had those bad experiences, I would have never written that book. And if I would never have written that book, I would never have had people come to me asking me, how did you write and publish a book, and how did you get all these radio interviews, and, can you help me? And then if I hadn't have helped other people, I would never have set up Conscious Dreams Publishing. So I changed the narrative. I changed the story. I chose not to be a victim, but I chose to use my story to create a different narrative. And I think that's really powerful. And I absolutely love this shirt. What do you think? Let me know. Now, I'm going to see if Vanita is available, able to come in at all. I can't see her yet, but I'll give you a bit of a background on Vanita. She came to us with another children's story about 6 months ago, maybe longer, wasn't quite ready, so it didn't pass the submission stage. But she didn't give up. She changed the story. She didn't allow it to make her think, well, I'm not going to submit again. She came with another story, and this one was, obviously, we greenlit this, and it is something that resonated with us and we thought would be brilliant. And her book is called Ask Your Belly Button, an absolutely beautiful book, beautifully illustrated book by Bryony Dick that encourages children to follow their own intuition and guidance, listen to their belly button. So I'm going to read the back here. Belly buttons know everything. They know what you've been up to, and they know where you've left things. Brother and sister Michael and Michaela are on the hunt. They want to go to the park, but Michaela has lost her shoes. They've searched all over and they still cannot find them. But there is one place they still need to look. Could Michaela's shoes be in the fridge, or are they amongst the spiders? Michael is enthusiastic, but is that enough to help Michaela find her shoes? Will they ever get to go to the park? And what do belly buttons know anyway? So this is her book, a really beautiful book. And I really wanted to have a discussion with her and you about, young children, and do we teach them to rely on their own intuition? Do we teach them even what intuition is, what that small, still voice within is? And how do we do that with our young people? I'm going to read a bit about the author here as well, because she's not here to share it herself. Hopefully she'll be coming in soon. About the author, Vanita grew up in East London, where she enjoyed many adventures and playing make-believe with her siblings. This brings back memories. Vanita's love for writing started in her late teens, where she began keeping dream journals and writing poetry. After having 2 children, Vanita went on to study counselling, and this is when she began to understand the importance of how childhood experiences shape our future. Vanita works in a primary school and lives in North London. She continues to write children's books to help children become self-aware, helping them build and maintain healthy relationships with themselves and others. And I think that's absolutely beautiful. And I think if we can reach our children when they're young, they have a much better chance of having healthy relationships with others and with themselves when they're older. That sense of self-awareness, that sense of understanding what that small, still voice is within. Have a look at this beautiful illustration. It's got a funny take on trusting her belly button. The font as well is also called Dyslexie font, which is perfect for dyslexic readers. So we wanted to create a sense of inclusion. So a lot of our books use Dyslexie font, which is just a really more accessible way for young people with dyslexia to read our books. Now, I think she might be coming in. Let's give it another go. Right. So I've already introduced you and spoken a little bit about your book. So I'm just going to ask you, first of all, because you sent 2 manuscripts in, have you always wanted to be a writer? Is this something that you've always thought about?
Well, I've written from my teenage years, but I've never thought of being an actual writer, author, or anything. It was just little notes in my notebook and keeping dream journals, and that's where I started.
Tell me about dream journals.
Well, even up to today, I'm still trying to figure out how to interpret my dreams and see what they mean. I do keep putting them off, and when I interpret them as one way, I change it because it's not going the way I want it to go. So I still have to work on them. Yeah.
So is this when you dream and you wake up and you interpret your dream, but then
I kind of I write it down, and then I get the symbols and the signs and stuff like that, and I kind of go back to like what's happened previously, or what I'm struggling with, things that I'm trying to aspire to, and when I see it's not going the way that I want it to go, then I just pull it down, and it's like, no, it can't work like this. But yeah, I'm still working on it.
So your kind of dream journals help you though in your everyday life?
Yeah, they do. They have done. I had a big one. I kept having this reoccurring dream over a period of time, and then when the event happened, my car got burnt. And when the event actually happened, the whole scene of what happened in my dream was the whole scene of like how it was going to happen, and the fire brigade coming down the road, and things blocking the window so I couldn't see properly. So yeah.
Oh wow! So you sort of saw it before you saw it.
Yeah. And then I went back to my dream journals and I saw everything that I wrote, and I was like, oh, that's what that meant. But yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know this about you. It kind of links very much to your book, but I'd love to talk to you about, this bit later. Obviously, my company's called Conscious Dreams Publishing, so I'm so interested in dreams and how we process information and how we can maybe predict what's going to happen, or maybe our mind knows what's going to happen, because I've had quite a few interesting ones. So that's brilliant. So that leads us nicely to ask your belly button. Tell us what belly button, what's the kind of symbology behind the belly button?
The belly button is for intuition. I think it's a friendly way for children to be introduced to intuition, so they can. It's for them to realize that the answers are not always outside of them, and they can. They have their own ideas, and they have their own thoughts, and that, and they can listen to that and get the answers rather than seeking the answer outside of them.
Brilliant. So what gave you that inspiration? Was it just came to you, or was it linked to anything that's happened that made you think, yeah, I need to write this for children?
Well, I was writing a book already. Yeah, I was writing a book already, and then, as my children do, they asked me, Mum, where's this? One of my children asked me, where is my whatever? And I was like, oh, and it was one of those questions, and I thought, how am I supposed to know where it is? Only you would know where it is. And then I said to him, ask your belly button. And it was just a phrase that came out, and I thought, oh, that could be a book, because I was writing a book already. So I thought, that could be a book. And then Ask Your Belly Button was born.
And have your children read your book, and what's their reaction been to your book?
They have read it. They were shocked, because I was always talking about the book is coming. And then for them to finally see it, it was, they were quite shocked. They sat down and read it, and I got the reaction that I wanted. I think they're quite proud. They haven't said, but I think they're quite proud and happy that I've done it.
How can they not? It's brilliant. And how did you feel about when you received your proof copy first time you published
my
the book?
God, I screamed. It was great. I mean, I've done a recording of when I opened the package, and it was very loud. I didn't realize that the audio was so loud, but it's great. It's great. It was a great feeling.
Amazing. It's an absolutely beautiful book. And so, talking about the writing process, did it take you a long time to write? Was it something that kind of flowed once you had the idea? And tell us about the style that you've written it in.
Well, when I said ask your belly button, it kind of flowed, because I knew what I meant by that, like intuition, and it just kind of flowed. The words kind of flowed, because I used to do poetry anyway. So it just all fit together, and I just kept writing and writing. Yeah.
And here it is.
Yeah.
through the process, obviously we have the book Ask Your Belly Button and we understand the concept. We've got the beautiful drawing here. So give people a bit of an insight into your book journey of actually getting this book into publication.
Oh, wow. Well, it was in my notebook first, and then I had the idea of submitting it. But then, because I submitted a book before, I was waiting to hear what was going to happen. And I put the book into a competition. I put Ask Your Belly Button into a competition. So I had to wait for the book to come out of the competition before I could try and get it published. So it came out of the competition, and I read it to someone, and they said, "Oh, it's a good idea. It's a really good idea." So I thought, I'm going to submit it. And then I submitted it, and I got an email a few weeks later saying, "Congratulations, we want to publish your book." So yeah, that was exciting. I screamed then as well.
A lot of screaming going on, Vanita.
Yeah.
So what about the process? And obviously you submitted the book and we said, yeah, we want to work with this book. What was the next stage? Do you remember? Just for those who never published the book and don't have any idea.
All right. So the next stage was the contract, reading the contract and signing it. And then after that, it was getting to know the illustrator. I met the illustrator, Danni, and that was a great. That was a great meeting. But yeah, I met Danni, and she went through. She asked me what kind of how old are the twins? What kind of colors do you want? What kind of what kind of colors? What kind of feel do I want for the characters? And she drew a sketch, and I thought, oh my gosh, wow, it was she done it really quick, and I thought, wow, but
and she's with you right on the Zoom. She just does a picture.
She was just doing the picture like it was nothing, and I was amazed. But I was like, yeah, that's nice. That's really good. But yeah, after we done Michaela first. She did Michaela first, and I was happy with Michaela. And then Michael and the mum came along later. But while she was doing the illustrations, it was quiet for a little while because you were getting everything ready on your side. So, and then after that, it was looking at the illustrations, approving them, seeing if I like this or I like that, or I want to take this out or put this in. And then it was the typesetting. It was the text of the book. And it's funny because I would, throughout the process, we had a font that I got used to. Yeah. So then when these other fonts came along and I was asked to choose, I had a font in mind. The font that was there throughout the process, I didn't want that font. And I thought to myself, I want this font. I chose a different font. But what I did, my clever self, I waited for everyone to get home because I wanted them to be involved in the process. Yeah. So I asked them, which font do you prefer? And they chose the font. They all chose the font. I asked them individually, and they chose the font that I said definitely not to. And then I said to Danni that I want that font, the font that I didn't want. And a few weeks later, it was you, Danni, that said, "Oh, something's not right with the font." And then I was like, do you know what? I thought that myself, but I didn't listen to my belly button. The whole reason I'm writing this book is to listen to my belly button. And it was saying, you don't want that font. Don't choose that font. So, yeah, I went against it. Yeah.
That's so powerful. Though I always find whenever I'm working with authors, and all myself as well, you learn so much about yourself through the process of writing a book.
Oh, yeah.
And I love that you actually had your own lesson reflected back to yourself. And it's really powerful, you know. Yeah, I'm glad you went for that font.
Yeah,
And you can't quite put your finger on it. It's like it doesn't quite represent.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a good process. It was a really fun process. I learned a lot about myself actually, and even my intuition now. I'm still, even up to the other day, it told me something, and I learned the hard way. So it's always an ongoing lesson. It's an ongoing process, and yeah, I'll get there in the end.
That's a powerful point as well, because I wrote in the newsletter today about your book, and I was talking about intuition and how many times have we been guided. I've been guided as well myself through dreams. Definitely in my 20s, and I listened to dreams. Nah, that's rubbish. They're not like that. And it takes a while, 6 months to a year maybe, and you realise, oh my God, how did we know already?
Yeah.
So there's one thing between sort of knowing something deep down or having a feeling about something and then acting on it, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's easier just to say, no, I know best, don't worry about that. I'm going to go this way, and then you learn.
Yeah, exactly, learn the hard way.
Exactly. And I think that's something that is an ongoing process for everyone, I think. But so that young people, do you think we teach them enough about autonomy or following their own intuition or gut?
I think children are made to think, not made to think, but most of the time we would butt in, adults would butt in, or somebody else would butt in and say, no, actually you don't do it like this. And then they don't get their experience, so they don't know. And sometimes when they speak as well, it's like if you listen to what they're saying, you can hear their thoughts and see what they want. You can hear what they want, and but then that's shut down. So then they grow up to think, oh, my ideas are not good enough. So I think that they could be listened to a bit more. Yeah.
I definitely agree. I think I love the work that you do, and with young people, with you studied counselling, haven't you? And you work in a primary school. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? And did it influence you wanting to write children's books?
With counselling, the first part of counselling, studying counselling, is self-awareness. And when I was learning all this stuff about me, I was like, whoa, oh my gosh. But I thought to myself, wow, if I knew this when I was younger, where would I be? How would my personality be? And then I thought, well, they should be doing this in schools and teaching children from a young age, because they're more closer to their own ideas. They're more closer to their own ideas and their own thoughts. But as I said, it gets shut down sometimes. So that's when I thought, they should put it in schools. And then a book came along. The book of a book came along.
You burnt that book.
Yeah, it was because I got to the end of not the end, but I got to a certain level, and then my tutor said I weren't ready. And it took me a while to realize that I weren't ready for the next level. And it was then when I started going through doing my own stuff, working on myself, that I realized I'm loving it. I'm actually liking doing this. And I thought I could teach children, so I could teach them somehow about self-awareness. And the book, this is the first thing.
Amazing. So Oh. So how have they responded? Hey, Andre, how have they responded to your book? Because I know you went to school to talk, which we'll talk about in a second, but how have the children at your school know that you've published a book?
I read it to the nursery children, and they was like, wow, is that your book? And they sat down and they listened. They really sat down and listened to what I was saying, and they took the story in, and they were really engaged. They took the story in, and even at the end of the book, they said, "Oh, I can see your picture." They was really excited, but by the end of the book, there was some of them like looking down at their belly button, asking like questions. Yeah, so it's been positive.
I love that.
Positive result.
That's brilliant. And you've spoken at school as well since?
Yeah, I went to a local school. I emailed a few schools, and I was hoping that they would get back to me before the schools shut for summer. One got back to me, and I was able to go to that school, and I spoke in the assembly. I thought it was going to be only Key Stage 1 there, but it was the whole school, and everyone was looking at me. Wow. But I spoke, and they seemed interested in it. I gave the school some books as well. So, we'll see.
That's fantastic. So listen, if you haven't met Vanita before, Vanita was very, what word should I use? Reluctant to use social media, to go live. This is her second ever interview. I remember you were really, you felt quite scared about having to talk in front of people. And I just want to say how proud I am of you. We talked through some book strategy, some book strategies that you can use for your book. And you've just been so consistent. I see your